Montero.
I'm Anita Heath.
And we are
Chelsea-Michelle.
If you have not read it yet, you can get our free prequel novella. We'll have a link in the description below. But today, we're not talking about that.
No, today this is part of this ongoing series called Mysteries We Sample. And in this series, we test out different mystery brands. And it's going to come to you in two different videos. One, we will do a taste test and we'll discuss just the brand itself. And then the second video, we'll let you know at the end of the taste test which episode to watch, because then in the second video, Table Talk, we'll actually talk about the entire episode, kind of commentary and stuff like that. So, do you want to tell them what we watched? What are we
So, usually the last two times, it's been Anita who has known these mysteries inside and out and introduced them to me. It's my turn to introduce her to a mystery series, and it is the Hallmark series Signed, Sealed, Delivered. So I guess give your impressions on, I did just jump in, and
Yeah.
this is a better series to watch in chronological order. However, due to time, we jumped in and watched one of the 42-minute episodes. It comes in two different ways. Of course, there's the pilot, and then they have a TV series, but then they changed it to a movie series after season 1. So we watched one of season 1's 42-minute episodes.
Quirky, I think was the best way to describe that. That was definitely my first impression. Like, all main characters have an over-the-top quirkiness. It did take me a couple of minutes, and by a couple I mean a few, to kind of get readjusted. I kind of found myself really liking one of them. Which one was that?
Norman?
Yes. Yeah. I found myself liking him. And then from there, kind of beginning to like more and more. And so, yeah, but yeah, to be thrown in at first, I was like, where's the straight character in this? Everybody's just like so crazy. And you kind of need to balance that off with somebody. But it is a fun game. This is, it's definitely a different kind of experience. And I think for the mysteries themselves, they're just more heartfelt.
Yes,
kind of
that's
a heartwarming.
exactly the word I was thinking of. It's heartwarming, heartfelt. I don't know that there's a murder in the entire series.
You know, and I kept guessing murder the entire time. I kept guessing murder, but you know, it just seemed right.
Yeah, so they're very cozy mysteries.
Yeah.
Very, very cozy mysteries, clean mysteries.
You know, it is Hallmark, honestly. Like,
yes.
You can tell they're definitely behind the brand. It screams Hallmark. Like, they were even like quoting stuff that would be written on a card. Yeah. But it's definitely a very Hallmarkish theme. And there's nothing wrong with that at all. I think it was, it was as it should be. Yeah. Definitely very, kind of puts you in mind of the traditional Hallmark. Not before they, before they became the cheesy Christmas movie channel, which I do enjoy. But, you know, before it became that, like, the Hallmark was really those powerful, you know, deep, emotional storylines.
Yes.
Yeah, no.
Emotional. That's what she's like, oh, they're so quirky. I'm like, yeah, but you know what? Some of them have actually made me tear up.
Yeah.
Which I do not cry frequently for movies, but they are very heartfelt. And a lot of the stories, it's not necessarily the main characters. A lot of it is the mystery side of it.
Like the situation, and I could see that. Yeah, and you know, on that note, as a writer, I could see why all the characters are so quirky, because they are balancing out the emotion behind the storyline itself.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there are four main characters, and if you start in the beginning, like most people properly should,
but you don't have to.
You don't have to, but you might be a little lost. So there's Oliver, who is the head of the department, and then he is old-fashioned as all get out, and he speaks old-fashioned. He doesn't really like technology. I do believe he drives a car, but like he wears a suit and tie, and he's just like, think old-fashioned charm. That's Oliver.
Yeah, very straight-laced, major rule follower, like down to the letter.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, down to the stroke of the letter.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then there's Norman and Rita, who are both postal workers. Norman is this really brilliant guy, but he's also, well, they're all quirky, but he's like nerdy and very unsure of himself and kind of quiet and a little bit clueless for a lot of things. So that's Norman. And then Rita is just kind of like over the top, really excited and
very emotional.
Yes. And she has, let's see, I'm trying to think, her quirk. I mean, well, her personality is a quirk, but like she's got a photographic memory, so often that did not come up in the episode that we watched, but that will help them out for things. And they all have their different knowledge strengths. They'll be like, oh, this is, you know, and so they kind of figure out the answer from that.
Norman's into technology, isn't he? He seems like
he's more into inventions than technology.
Gotcha.
Yes. Okay, then Shane. Now, Shane is the newcomer in the very first episode.
A girl, by the way.
Oh, yes, Shane is a girl, yes. In the very first episode, she's coming to the DLO, which is supposed to be direct line operations. But it's not. It's the dead letter office, but because it was DLO, there's a big mix-up. And, of course, by the time the first episode's done, she stays there. So, she is like, we're in the 21st century, come on, and she's a very... I guess very modern woman would be the way to put her. I mean, she is quirky too.
Compared to the rest,
But yeah, compared to the rest. The others are like cute, eccentric, or whatever, and then you have Shane. And actually, I get most annoyed with Shane most often.
Really? I think Oliver was the one that I struggled with more.
Oh, I like Oliver.
He was too straight-laced. Like, no. You gotta go leave him out in the rain or something. I don't know.
Yeah, but so the whole
something's gotta
that's
go.
funny. The whole series, it is very quirky. The actual characters, they do like bizarre things that are like, well, that would never happen in real life. But the mysteries that they solve, so basically what it is, they have an unidentified package or something wasn't delivered right, and they have to figure out who it's supposed to go to or who it came from, so they can either return to sender or deliver to who it belongs to. And very often with these, they unwind these stories, and those are very heartfelt. And there's one that I don't know what happened, but the whole thing's stupid. There's just no way to put around it.
How many times have you seen it, like that particular episode?
I'm trying to think. I may have watched it twice, and the second time I may have fast forwarded all the parts of this particular character. They went all like, they were going, not against, but they were solving a mystery, and then the security was trying to do it, and the security guy was like, all like, no, we've got this, and like the sunglasses, and it was just like ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. So if that's the first one you watch, that is not a good taste of it. Like, that's one that's almost worth skipping. It does, however, their character development progresses through the entire series.
Which is true for all shows, though.
This is true.
I mean, even the acting progresses in all shows. Like, it's known the first series is typically terrible. Except
that their relationships progress, too. It's not like a lot of series, like, there's no ending and there's no, you know, like, I mean, not all series, but a lot of series, it's like they come in, they go out, and it's just like whatever. But this actually, they actually... trying not to give too many spoilers. I mean, it's probably obvious, but you know, some series are like, okay, are they going to get together? Are not going to get together? Well, in this series, some things do happen, and they do kind of bring it to a point.
Okay.
So yeah, so
and continue with the series.
Yes, they continue with the whole storyline of these characters.
Okay. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah, you know, and if you're new to it and you struggle with the character and the quirkiness, like, give it a full episode.
Yes.
You know, go wash some dishes during commercial break, come back, try it again.
You really do have to.
Yeah, because it was definitely at least halfway through where I was like, okay, I think I'm going to enjoy this. And then once you get to that place in the storyline where the mystery, like, becomes something significant, something you care about. And that's really what they do really well, you know, because it's not a murder mystery. So it's not a matter of justice, but now it's a matter of this theme that emotionally I'm now drawn to. And so now I care whether or not they solve that. And so once you get to that place in the storyline, it does begin to balance, and you do find yourself wanting to continue with them. Because quite frankly, I was like, I did at one point go, what did you get as well? I'm like, why are we here? Why are we doing this thing? Because some of the personality, like,
you have to get used to the characters. And honestly, because I've watched the whole series twice, and the second time I was going to rewatch it, I'm like, why was I so into this? Why did I like it so much? But then after I watched the first one, got used to all their quirkiness. It's like, you kind of love them. They're quirky, but you love them. But the heartfelt mysteries and the stories is just, they do really well with that.
And I think, like, the longer a series runs, really the acting does get better. Like, we had mentioned Friends at some point in a different video, but that one is also, you know, 10 seasons long. When you watch the first season, you're like, how was this ever a hit? The acting, it feels more shallow. They feel more like characters and not people. And the further you get, they really do begin to wear the character. And so I imagine this would be the same.
Oh, yeah.
So, give it some time. Look for somebody you can, you know, enjoy their quirkiness, and then maybe it'll grow any better.
So give it a chance. I recommend giving it a chance, but give it a solid chance. Like, watch a full episode or two before you give judgment, and just expect they're quirky, which I think it kind of makes it unique. Because you don't really watch that many series where everyone is so quirky. Right.
No, you don't. Not so many in the same. And I do think, it had to be to balance the emotion side.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But also remember, it's not a murder mystery. No matter how many opportunities somebody could die. I was like, dude, she killed him, right?
People do die, but not necessarily murder.
Not necessarily murder.
I'm trying to remember if there is I don't think there's any murder.
So, I mean, it's very much not just cozy, but heartwarming, cozy. So,
quirky, heartwarming, cozy. So we'd love to hear your thoughts. Have you seen Signed, Sealed, Delivered? Have you seen, like, all of it, or just, like, one? Have you seen the longer movies or the shorter series? And, what were your thoughts about it? Which is your favorite episode? Which one should Anita watch next? Or should she just watch the whole thing? You know?
I'm sure I'll get around to it. And who's your favorite character?
Who's your favorite character? Oh, it's hard. I do think that Oliver is mine, but I do like...
I think so. You were offended when I said I didn't like it.
I
think like the Tin Man or something. Like, please. I think that's why I want to stick him out in the rain. That's why I have the desire to go put him out and, like, rust him really good. I like Norman.
And all the characters have backstories that end up coming in the character. You didn't see any of their backstories, but all 4 main characters have backstories that end up coming up. And I feel like they actually did write the characters very well. They're quirky, but they are well-developed characters. So,
Well, it was fun talking, and we will come back. Oh, we need to tell them what episode to watch.
I've forgotten already.
She'll look it up, and she'll tell you. Because in our next video, we are going to actually discuss the full episode. So you want to make sure that you've watched it and chime in with our commentary.
So we watched episode 8, which is called Something Good. Definitely, there's some questions about what's going on. A lot of your questions about the romantic tension and stuff got answered. I answered them first, but then they got answered in the actual episode. So you'll have some questions going into it, but I think most of it will be answered.
I think it's for the most part self-explanatory.
So join us next week for our table talk, where we will talk about episode 8 and our takeaway on it.
Do they need to know it's season 1, or does that matter?
Season 2 goes by movie titles, not by episode numbers.
Good to know. All right. All right, so Something Good, episode 8. I almost said season.
Episode 8, season 1.
There you go. Enjoy, and we'll be back to talk about it. Bye, y'all.